Hello, welcome to today's lesson on fractions. Today we are going to learn how to add and subtract mixed numbers and unlike fractions. Hi Turbo Girl, let's see if you still can remember what you have learned about fractions. Can you tell me what proper fractions are?
Of course, proper fractions are fractions where the numerator is smaller than the denominator. For example, 4 over 9, where 4 is smaller than 9.
Good. Now, do you know what unlike fractions are and what mixed numbers are?
Mixed numbers are made up of a whole number and a proper fraction. For example, 1, 2 over 3. But I am not sure what are unlike fractions.
Well, unlike fractions refer to two or more fractions which do not have the same denominators. For example, 1/4 and 5 over 7 are unlike fractions.
That means that fractions such as 2 over 5 and 3 over 5 are like fractions because they have the same denominator, which is 5.
That's correct, Turbo Girl. Okay, now you are ready to learn how to add and subtract unlike fractions and mixed numbers. Firstly, we will learn how to add and subtract unlike fractions. In order for us to add or subtract unlike fractions, we have to change them to like fractions. Let's look at an example. Ali gave 1/4 of his marbles to Billy and 2/3 of his marbles to Chun Beng. What fractions of his marbles did Ali give away to Billy and Chun Beng? We write the sum as 1/4 plus 2/3. We can see that these fractions are unlike fractions, so we have to change them into like fractions. We do that by finding equivalent fractions. To get equivalent fractions, we find the first common multiple of 4 and 3, which is 12. To make 1/4 equals to 3 over 12, we multiply the denominator by 3 to get 12. Similarly, we have to multiply the numerator by 3. So, 1 times 3 equals to 3. We make 2/3 equals to 8 over 12. We multiply the denominator by 4 to get 12. Similarly, we have to multiply the numerator by 4. So, 2 times 4 equals to 8. Thus, the sum can be written as 3 over 12 plus 8 over 12. Now that they are like fractions, we can add them up. The answer is 11 over 12.
Can I try a sum?
Sure, Turbo Girl. What is 4/5 plus 5 over 8?
I changed the fractions into like fractions by finding equivalent fractions. To get equivalent fractions, I find the first common multiple of 5 and 8, which is 40. I multiply the denominator by 8 to get 40. Similarly, I have to multiply the numerator by 8, which is 4 times 8, which is equals to 32. So that I get 32 over 40. For 5 over 8, I multiply the denominator by 5 to get 40. Similarly, I have to multiply the numerator by 5, which is 5 times 5 equals to 25. I get the equivalent fraction 25 over 40. Thus, the sum can be written as 32 over 40 plus 25 over 40. Now, I can add them and I get 57 over 40.
Since it is an improper fraction, you have to simplify it into a mixed number. Thus, 4/5 plus 5/8 is equals to 1 whole 17 over 40.
Okay, I know how to add unlike fractions now, but how do we subtract unlike fractions?
Like addition, we have to change the unlike fractions that we are subtracting into like fractions first. Then we can subtract them like in like fractions.
I think I know how to subtract unlike fractions now. Give me a sum to try.
I have a piece of ribbon which is 3/4 meters long. If I use 1/3 meters of ribbon to tie a gift, how much ribbon is left?
This is a subtraction question. I write the sum as 3/4 minus 1/3. Since they are unlike fractions, I have to change them into like fractions. The first common multiple of 4 and 3 is 12. For 3/4, I multiply the denominator by 3 to get 12. Similarly, I have to multiply the numerator by 3, which is equals to 9. For 1/3, I multiply the denominator by 4 to get 12. Similarly, I have to multiply the numerator by 4 to get 4. Thus, the sum can be written as 9/12 minus 4/12. Now I can subtract them. The answer is 5/12.
Excellent work, Turbo Girl. Let's learn how to add and subtract mixed numbers. We shall start with addition.
Is it difficult to add mixed numbers?
Not at all, Turbo Girl. Since mixed numbers are made up of both whole numbers and fractions, we add the whole numbers first and then the fractions.
In 2 2/7 plus 1 1/2, we take 2 2/7 plus 1, which is 3 2/7. Next, we take 3 2/7 plus half. We then change the fractions into like fractions, which are 4/14 and 7/14 before we add them up. Upon adding them, we get the answer 3 and 11/14.
That is really not that difficult. Let me try one sum.
Okay, try the sum. 3 whole 4/5 plus 2 whole 3/4.
I start by adding the whole numbers first and then the fractions. I take 3, 4/5 plus 2, which is 5, 4/5. Next, I take 5, 4/5 plus 3/4. I have to convert the fractions into like fractions, which are 16/20 and 15/20, before I add them. Upon addition, I get the answer 5, 31/20. Something is not right. Oh yes, 31/20 is more than 1 whole 20/20. Thus, I should simplify it to 1, 11/20. Thus, 3, 4/5 plus 2, 3/4 equals to 6, 11/20.
Well done, Turbo Girl. Let's move on to learn how to subtract mixed numbers. Similarly, we subtract the whole numbers first and then the fractions. In 3 whole 2/3 minus 1 whole 2/9, we take 3 whole 2/3 minus 1, which is equals to 2 whole 2/3. Next, we take 2 whole 2/3 minus 2/9. We then change the fractions into like fractions, which are 6/9 and 2/9, before we do subtraction. Upon subtracting 2/9 from 2 whole 6/9, we get the answer 2 whole 4/9.
I think I can do that too.
Okay, try this. What is 6 whole 1/5 minus 2 whole 7/10?
I start by subtracting the whole numbers first and then the fractions. I take 6 1/5 minus 2, which is 4 1 over 5. Next, I take 4 1 over 5 minus 7 over 10. I know I have to change the unlike fractions into like fractions, which are 2 over 10 and 7 over 10 before I do subtraction. Since I cannot take 7 over 10 from 2 over 10, I take 1 whole 10 over 10 from 4 and add that to 2 over 10. The sum is now 3 12 over 10 minus 7 over 10. Thus, 6 1 over 5 minus 2 7 over 10 equals to 3 5 over 10.
You have done the subtraction correctly, but you have forgotten to reduce it to the simplest form. Therefore, the answer should be 3.5.
I will try to remember that, teacher.
Turbo Girl, can you recall what you have learnt today?
I have learnt that in order to add or subtract unlike fractions, I have to change them into like fractions first. I do that by finding equivalent fractions. To get that, we find the first common multiple of the denominators of the unlike fractions and make that the new denominators. I then change the numerators by multiplying them with the appropriate factors to make the fractions alike.
Good. What about addition and subtraction of mixed numbers?
When adding or subtracting mixed numbers, I add or subtract the whole numbers first, and then the fractions. Similarly, if the fractions in these mixed numbers are unlike fractions, they have to be changed into like fractions before being added or subtracted. And finally, all answers have to be expressed in the simplest form.
Well done, Turbo Girl. That's all for today's lesson. Goodbye.
Goodbye, teacher.